there everybody, Chris from Orlando here, and today, we're doing another top 10. Now I haven't done a top 10 since April, which in 2020 time is about 15 years. This is because they haven't performed well in the past. But I'm older, wiser, and about 15 pounds heavier from quarantine, so let's give it another go. One of the reasons why Disney stands head and shoulders above the carnival that sets up in the Walmart parking lot is because most of their rides have stories behind them. Some are hidden in little details in the queue. Sometimes they lock you in a room with a TV that spells out everything for you. We're looking at the latter today as we take a look at the top 10 Disney World pre-shows. Quick honorable mention though to Chief Flight Attendant Patrick at Soarin', because while I love this man with every fiber of my being, he's not really a pre-show. He's the safety spiel. Have to bring him up before I get eviscerated in the comments. And before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can get a fast pass for new theme park videos every Friday. Number 10. Rock and Roller Coaster. Reason why this pre-show is great. Number 1. It has my boys Aerosmith in it. Oh, I suppose you want some more then. Fine. This pre-show has two things to set up. You need to get across town, and you need to do it fast. This is set by Steven Tyler offering the guests backstage passes to their concert after being suggested by the cast member or an overzealous annual pass holder. It also gets some comedy points from Steven Tyler sneaking in the shocker in a Disney park production. Don't Google that if you don't know what it is, by the way. However, it's only number 10 because Joe Perry always asks me to grab his black Les Paul, but this jerk always swoops in before I can get there. Number 9. Millennium Falcon, Smugglers Run. This is definitely the simplest pre-show on the list, with a background screen and a very impressive animatronic of Hondo Ohnaka briefing you on the mission ahead. But it does something important. In the story of Galaxy's Edge, you're in a time between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. So Han Solo, the guy most people would expect to see in a ride designed around the Millennium Falcon, is dead. Spoiler alert. And while Chewbacca is there, unless you can speak Wookiee and happen to know the secret code, you'll need someone to speak Basic in order to give you instructions. Hondo is a great choice, as he's a fan favorite character from the Clone Wars TV show, but it's important to note that not everyone is as big a Star Wars fan as I am, and thus know who he is. This pre-show, while brief, introduces you to who Hondo is, the fact that he's voiced by Jim Cummings, which is always great, and inform you the dangers of smuggling. Great stuff. Number 8. Enchanted Tales with Belle. A great pre-show helps set the stage for the story ahead, and the pre-show for Enchanted Tales pretty much does that literally. After going through a portal that forms in Maurice's cottage with an effect that how? How do they do that? I don't know! Witchcraft. You'll meet up with the wardrobe, or Madame de la Grande Bouche if you're into musical theater, in which they'll select kids from the audience, and 2 grown men, to be part of the show. What I like about this pre-show, aside from the impressive effects, is that it offers all the kids who want it a chance to be part of the show. Sure, not all of them will be one of the main characters, but they still give all those left over a chance to be in, and that's nice. Number 7. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I kind of feel bad for Mickey and Minnie's. They opened at the worst possible time, only a few weeks before Disney closed for Coruscant virus. So unfortunately, not many people have been able to see this pre-show. Despite what you might think of the modern art style for the Mickey Mouse cartoons, this cartoon they show has a lot of charm, and certainly feels like a classic Mickey cartoon. Not to mention the absolute earworm of a song they'll sing that will be stuck in your head for the rest of the day. Nothing can stop us now. No. Well, at least it's not Small World. Also, it could be because I was delirious because I was there since 3 in the morning so I could be one of the first people to ride it. But I was fooled when Goofy crashed the train into the screen, literally breaking the fourth wall and talking to the cast member present. I love some meta humor. And it's a good explanation of how we get to go into the cartoon. Number 6. Flight of Passage. This one has some haters and I can see why. It's a bit long and Dr. Stevens has a cadence to his delivery. So much so, it's almost like watching Rocky Horror. I can understand all of that, but you remember the guy, right? So that makes him stand out to me at least. I also like that Dr. Stevens and Discount Sigourney Weaver over here brings the whole thing back to Animal Kingdom's core message of nature conservation, bringing up key species, the damages of dangerous mining practices, stuff like that. It's too long, yes, but it's a nice way to reflect on the real world before you, fly. Number 5. Muppet Vision 3D. I'm looking at my list and man, Hollywood Studios is just greedy with their pre-shows. Like, poor Epcot, man. Anyway, if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times, everything is better with the Muppets. Depending on when you get to the pre-show area, you could be waiting up to 15 minutes for the next show to let in. So, you have to make sure everyone is entertained during that time. I really enjoy the use of 3 different TVs to simulate a much larger stage. Not to mention all the Muppets shown have a chance to shine. Most notably Rizzo dressed as Mickey Mouse, and of course Sam Ego being so unfunny it somehow comes all the way back around to being hilarious. Not liking this pre-show is simply unpatriotic. Number 4. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. If you know me, you know I love rides that have lore out the wazoo, which is why I love the whole Society of Explorers and Adventurers, which we're not covering yet. But in terms of self-contained stories, the Tower of Terror is king. Using a combination of old Rod Serling clips and a very talented impersonator, this episode of The Twilight Zone explores the tragedy of a Hollywood couple, a child star and her nanny, and a very unlucky bellhop who were all in the wrong place at the wrong time when a bolt of lightning struck the Hollywood Tower Hotel, causing those 5 to disappear. It's such a strong story that they made it into a made-for-TV movie that, for some reason, still isn't on Disney+! Overall, a great spooky tale to tell before you make your own trip into the Twilight Zone. Number 3. Dinosaur. Okay, here's the thing. If it were up to me, and I realize that it mostly is, the Dinosaur pre-show would not be number 3. It'd be number 1 because it has Dr. Seeker, baby! But I don't want people to get mad at me in the comments, so I'll settle for bronze here. So this pre-show is pretty much carried on the goofy charisma of Dr. Seeker. The guy is funny, while also doing a good job of making you overlook the fact that you have a time machine. So why are we going to when the asteroid is going to hit the Earth in 5 minutes? Can we go back like one more day? Not to mention, he's endlessly quotable from "Hello there" to "You'll be back with 1 additional passenger extra large." Fun fact, Animal Kingdom was the first park I went to after the closure, and when I went to Dinosaur, everyone was quoting along with him, something I normally find annoying, but we were all just so happy to see him. Number 2. The Haunted Mansion. This was the undisputed number 1 for so long because how can you beat out the legendary stretching room? Everything about it is iconic, from the paintings, to the ghost host dialogue, to the reveal of the hanging corpse. Every Disney Parks fan worth their salt knows that you stand under the portrait of the tightrope girl, and you probably know most of the spiel by heart. Probably even snuck it into your wedding vows because you're weird like that. In terms of how iconic and how much of an impact it's made, there are none that rival the Haunted Mansion pre-show. But in terms of spectacle, there is another. Number 1, Rise of the Resistance. So this entirely depends on what you define as the pre-show here. If you just count the briefing you get from Ray and BB-8, it's still really cool, but certainly not worthy of the number 1 spot. However, if you count everything up to when you get into the ride vehicle, it simply blows everything out of the water. You go from the briefing, to a skirmish in space, to being captured by the First Order with the iconic set piece of when you first step onto the Star Destroyer, to the interrogation room, to finally some members of the Resistance breaks you out. All are simply incredible and are just as vital to the overall experience as the actual ride. But what really secures its #1 spot for me is the cast members. Dear Lord, there is nothing I would have loved more than to have been a First Order officer so I could be a jerk to guests and actually have them love me for it. Even when you're being loaded onto the vehicle, they'll keep building the story, talking about how they reprogrammed the prisoner droid so it should be bug-free. Mostly, it's a true reminder that at the end of the day, it's the cast members who really make the magic here. And that's my list. Do you agree with my picks? What are your favorite Disney World pre-shows? Leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and share this video if you enjoyed it. And be sure to subscribe to Chris from Orlando for more awesome theme park videos. I'm Chris from Orlando, and I want to be Dr. Seeker when I grow up. Take care, y'all. One love. Don't hurt nobody.